Thank you, Veronica. What seems to connect the three witness stories we heard this morning with this previous session appear to be the other dissatisfaction and frustration many have with the status quo. And today's youth are shooting louder and getting more front-page attention than ever before. This was front and center 2 weeks ago with Greta Thunberg leading the charge for millions of young activists around the world. Do you remember the photo of Greta just 1 year ago, sitting by herself on the side, walk with her protest sign? Today, I want to have an open and honest conversation with two young activists, Ridhima Pandey, and who was one of the 16 young activists with Greta in New York just a few weeks ago. And Ella Marie Hætta Isaksen, a performer and activist for the environment and the Sami people in Norway, to address one simple question. Just what is the other side not hearing that you wish they did? Ella Marie, should we start with you?
What is the other side not hearing? Well, they're not hearing the truth. It's as simple as that. For me, it's really frustrating always when I try to talk about the climate issue, and as honest as I feel like Greta Thunberg really has managed to do. And it really makes her angry, and you can see the frustration in her eyes, and I can really relate to that. But often I get told, like, you don't be so angry. Can't you smile more? And I'm just like, this is really nothing to smile about. So that's my main issue with the other side or the older generation or whatever, is that it's not comfortable enough to hear the truth. That's frustrating.
What do you think, Ridhima? What do you think?
I think that the other generation, the older generation, or the other side, is like basically they are listening us. They are like, I don't think so that like they're like, if they are kids, so we can say that they didn't know anything about the anything about the world, what is going on and what's the main issue. They are seeing that and they know that what is the current issue. The current issue is global warming, climate change, and they are just ignoring that, and which make me very angry. And they are just like, I don't think so that anybody like the older generation didn't listen the interviews of Greta Thunberg or the other activists. They see it, they know that the global warming, the climate change is the issue, and they are just ignoring this, and which make me very angry. And when I just talk anybody about this, they just like, sometimes they just say like, listen me, and just like, I don't have to like worry about this. The government will do that, or the other thing, other people will do that. But no, we also have to do something about that. We can just sit and enjoy our life and say that others are going to do that. So like, if we are not going to do that, we'll say the other will do that. The other will say the other will do that, and nobody is going to do that. So like, basically, they're not listening us, they're just ignoring us. Yeah. And if like they will ignore us, which
that's why we scream so loudly.
Yeah.
Yes,
it's because they're not listening. And I guess you are also very sick of older people telling you, oh, it's so nice that you spend your time on this and keep doing that, good job.
Yeah.
But the message is just going right through over their heads or whatever.
so it's pretty clear to all of us here around, the older in this, that we are probably ignoring and we are not listening enough. So what do you think about the other thing behind the climate change, like more like the social justice and also the future of work? Do you have the same frustration, or do you think it is...
Well, I am an Sami activist, an indigenous rights activist, and maybe this is not like a popular idea, especially in this room, but I am skeptical to growth. I am skeptical that you can always make more and more money, but still respect the boundaries of our ecosystem. I'm brought up as a Sami girl, and our traditions taught us that you are not supposed to take more than you need, and we don't own this world. We are just guests here, and we're going to leave this for the future generations. And you know, large companies, I don't know if it is possible to run a large company and still respect nature as it deserves to be respected. But that is just one question. I hope it is possible, because I also realize that we all can't live like the Sami people did years ago. We are in a modern age, and yeah.
What do you think, Ridhima?
I think that we can see the effects of climate change now. This time in India, Bihar, Patna, people suffered from a huge flood, and after that they're suffering from disease dengue, and 7,000 people are suffering from that, and which is not good, because I don't want to suffer with any disease in my future. I don't want to suffer from these floods. I don't want to go through these things. I want a healthy future, and I want other generations, coming generations, to have that good future that older generation have. We are not the main, we are not promoting global warming very much. The kids are not promoting global warming very much. The youths are not promoting it. And the older generations, like the factory owners or the decision makers, they are I think so that they are producing, or I can say that they are the people who are who are a part of increasing climate change, global warming, and which is going to affect our future. So why we have to suffer? Why the kids have to suffer because of all their bad deeds? So that this is the main problem.
Yeah.
So why do you think the young people today are so much more focused on the climate crisis?
I think there's definitely what you're talking about now, the sense of betrayal. The sense of, we all can relate to being a child. You look up to your parents and you think that they are gods and everything they say is right. And then you come to this point where you go wait a minute, why did we travel so much? That was not good for the environment. Why have I been to 30 countries before I turned 18? Because my parents like to travel. And then I realized that, and I kind of become really angry with them, and had to ask them those questions and force them to answer me on those things. And I think that's kind of what's happening globally right now, is that we are kind of standing up and realizing that what we were taught is not necessarily correct. There is a bigger issue than what we were told.
So there is a definite disconnect between the younger and the older generation. Why do you think it is like this, Ridhima?
I think that the younger generation is more concerned and more focused about this issue, because we are now getting this point that yes, it is the issue, and if we are not going to do something on that, we have to face difficulties in our future, which we don't want to. And I think that the kids are more concerned about this, because the older generation or the bigger people, the older people than us, are not taking this issue seriously. They're not serious about this, and they're not taking this issue as seriously as they should, and they're just taking it very lightly, and which they shouldn't. And for to make them aware, or to make them awaken, we kids are protesting, and we kids are acting more on this.
So that brings us over to another question. So what do you think are the biggest barrier standing in the way for you to push the conversation forward?
Well, first of all, we're not in government. Of course, there are mostly grown-ups and older people in government. And I feel like when I talk to politicians, I often get just the same answer over and over again. I can ask a question, but I never get an honest answer. And I think that's kind of human. When I get asked, what do I do for the environment, I want to enlighten the positive things. I want to say, oh, I recycle and I take the bus and da 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 da. I never tell people how much I fly around with planes, you know, because you want to show the positive sides, and definitely if you're a politician. So I think the biggest barrier for us to solve the climate crisis is the honesty. We need to dare to be honest with ourselves and with others.
Any reflection from you regarding the barrier?
Yes.
What is the biggest barrier, do you think?
The biggest barrier in this issue, I think, is that people are not aware about this. And if the people are aware, they're just ignoring this. So this is the biggest barrier, because they know, like, this is issue, we should do something on this, because like our government, like in India, basically it's a developing country and the population is increasing, and as the population is increasing, the people need more food and more stuff and more houses, so they're just cutting all the trees, all the forests, and the mountains to build factories, homes, and which is not good. Like recently in Mumbai, the government passed, they given approve to the construction team that they can cut 2,700 or something like that trees to build a metro line over there. And like Mumbai is one of the most polluted state, and Maharashtra is most of the polluted states. And if like there is a lot of air pollution, and like if they'll cut that small belt of trees, so the more people are going to suffer, and people are protesting for that we don't want you to cut the trees. So like the police just imposed section 144, and they just arrested people who were protesting, and that was not good, and they just cutted the trees. And now Supreme Court has ordered that the government cannot cut the more trees, but they have done their work. They have cutted those trees, that much trees what they wanted to, and that's bad. And like people are not taking this issue seriously, and the governments, the like the older generation, they are not listening us, they're just ignoring us, which is, I think, that the biggest barrier, I feel.
So do you think when we talk about growth, because all businesses are focusing on growth, but we are talking about the sustainable growth. So we have a question from the audience here. If you think it is to change the term growth, that this could be replaced with development. Do you see it in a more positive way? Because you said that you dislike that they are talking about the growth.
Well, it's just that I'm so skeptical, because what I have seen in my own county and where I'm from is that growth creates sorrow for my people. And now industrial things are coming in, and now in the name of climate change. So now there are like wind industry is taking up lands, and it is making it harder for reindeer herders to continue their work. And I kind of relate to what you're saying, that I guess no one wants to do bad things for others, but we have to think in the long term, and I don't think cutting trees or taking away lands from indigenous peoples is the right way to go. We need to think of consequences, and many studies show that the places in the world where the biodiversity has been kept the most is where indigenous people have managed the land, and where indigenous peoples have been the guardians of the land. So maybe we should listen more to indigenous peoples.
So what do you say to people that believe that you are too idealistic, and to understand how the real work.
Yeah, well, I want people to stop trying to make me shut up because it's just gonna make me want to scream louder. So, there you go.
What do you say to the people?
So I just want to say those peoples that we have that sense. We are having that much sense to know that how they should work and how they are working. I can understand the difference of the real working system and now what's happening. So like they are just saying that to make us quiet, and we are not going to be quiet.
Thank you so much. I see the time is running. Thank you so much, both Ella Marie and also Ridhima. And I think we should give them a huge applause.
Wow.
And to the older people in the room, I hope you take to the heart what we just heard from them both. And it is a pleasure to introduce the next performer. It is Ella Marie. She will perform together with her band Isaksen. Please welcome Ella Marie and the band.
They on